Hello, and what's up, gorgeous? I am so delighted and pumped to tell you today about a big myth when it comes to dating. And that myth is that you have to kiss a bunch of frogs before you find your king. Let's not even talk about princes, let's talk about kings, right? Because I help my clients find kings, and that's really the sort of relationship that most women want. Something that's really about being a power couple, not having to sacrifice who you are and still getting the deep love and commitment that you desire. So do you find that you attract men who say they want a relationship, and then a few months later you're still dating casually and you don't have any clarity about what's going on? Or do you find that you get stuck in non-relationship relationships where it's just turning into a friends with benefits? The situation is kind of devolving into just a, hey, let's hang out every once in a while. And then worse, do you feel like it's kind of pulling teeth to get that person to want to hang out with you? So what started out as what could be a great relationship has now turned into not only just friends with benefits, but you feeling like you're the one pursuing. Or do you find that you attract men who say they want a relationship, things are going well with you, and then a few weeks or a few months later you break up and you find out that just a few months after you stopped seeing them, they got engaged or they got married. And it's like, how did this person who didn't want me or didn't want to commit with me all of a sudden get married to someone in just a few months? It's not fair, right? It totally sucks. And I'm here to tell you it's not your fault, but it is your opportunity to change, because no one can change your patterns of attraction and change your love life except for you and getting the support from an expert. So if you find that you're running into these patterns of non-available or non-committal men, or men that you kind of are hoping and praying and wishing that they might change, like he says he's not ready, but maybe he will be later, or, he's just coming out of a divorce, we get caught in this trap of having so much empathy or so much sympathy that we put our needs on the shelf and we put their excuses kind of in the limelight, and we can get wrapped up into that. And I don't want you to have to settle for these friends with benefits or non-relationship relationships, or being a perpetual girlfriend but not being able to be a wife if that's really what you want. And so the myth is that we have to kiss a bunch of frogs, but the truth is we just have to change our patterns of attraction. We have to date in a way that's mature and responsive and healthy. And what I mean by that is we have to learn how to set healthy boundaries. Now, boundaries is not just about yes or no. Sometimes we think that we have to be a bitch if we want to set healthy boundaries, or we think that we have to somehow be cold or be incongruent with who we believe ourselves to be. Or we might have even read books that told us to be really aloof, or we might have even heard from our girlfriends like, oh, don't text him back, or, don't ever tell him how you feel. And none of that is actually true. The way to inspire commitment from a partner and a way to evoke the best from a partner, in addition to changing your patterns of attraction so you're only going out with the best quality people who really match you and match what you want, is to have healthy boundaries with love. We can't forget about the love. That's why we're here. That's why we're on this planet. That's why you're watching this video, is because you care about love. You're a woman of love. You want more love in your life. You want that ooey gooey yummy sensation of someone buying you flowers or a gift, or taking you on a trip, or sweeping you off your feet, or having a passionate lovemaking session where you feel like a completely different person afterwards, and all of your sense of self evaporates into just an ecstatic bliss of oneness. Like, yes, like that is the beauty of love, and that is the power of love. And I believe love can transform us more than anything else in the world can. It's a supreme superpower, but most of us get stuck because what we're thinking is love is actually codependency or enabling. We're thinking, well, I can't set a healthy boundary. I can't tell him how I really feel because then I'll sound bitchy, or then I'll sound cold, or, I understand where he's coming from. And so it's okay. Like, he's telling me the right things, but someone can tell you the right things till the cows come home. And it doesn't mean that they're meeting your needs. So if you have a fear of rejection, or a fear of abandonment, or a fear of being too much, or a fear of being not enough, those fears might have held you back from actually speaking your truth and expressing your desires and setting healthy boundaries. Like I said, not in a way that's a yes or no, and not in a way that's necessarily a negotiation, but that's an offering. Boundaries are an offering, a sense of feedback to the partner, saying, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what works for me, this is what doesn't work for me. Now, you don't say it that exact way, right? Like, you have to communicate in a different way. Communicate in a way that really invites the person forward, not only to pursue you, but to commit to you, and not only to just be with you, but to be their best version of themselves with you, right? Like, You want to be with someone who's continuing to grow and who wants to honor you and serve you and be devoted to you, but someone you still deeply respect, not someone who's just a doormat, right? And so you don't have to kiss a bunch of frogs. Dating is not a numbers game, it's an energy game. And it's not about going on a million dates. It's not about looking perfect. It's about changing your patterns of attraction and learning how to communicate and how to set healthy boundaries in a great way. And a key step to that is to stay committed to yourself. When we don't have any boundaries, it's because we don't know how to commit to ourselves. We're more committed to whatever's arising in the moment, or we're more committed to that person's needs in the moment. And so our needs keep getting swept under the rug. And in the worst case scenario of this, a woman will be abused physically, sexually, emotionally or mentally. And I talk with so many women every day that that's the case. I myself have been through emotionally, mentally, and sexually abusive relationships, and in my childhood, even physically abusive. And that should not happen for anyone. I mean, that's part of why I'm so fired up to create a global revolution of love, because I believe that healthy love creates healthy relationships create healthy families, and in healthy families, we don't have the abuse that happens for children, but also the abuse that happens for partners. And so the way to create a healthy relationship is to change the pattern of attraction, keep the relationship going strong, and get to a level of true commitment. Yes, the commitment that looks like a marriage proposal, but also the type of commitment that looks like someone being their best self on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis with you, because that's what you deserve, and that's what you're calling forth for every aspect of your life. And so if you're not sure how to set a healthy boundary, or if in the times in the past you set a boundary and then you felt rejected, there is a difference between setting a boundary and holding a boundary, right? It's one thing to set a boundary, but then oftentimes afterwards we'll beat ourselves up, we'll overanalyze, we'll worry, well, if it didn't turn out the way that we wanted, if our ego doesn't get the outcome it was looking for, then we can shame ourselves for setting a boundary, and we can fall more into that trap and into that hole of not knowing ourselves, not knowing who we are, and not speaking our truth. So one of the women that I worked with, she lives in the Northern California area. She had been divorced and I think had been single for about 6 years. She's a single mom, and she did not want to have to date in the traditional way of having to go on a million dates, having to be on all the apps, and worse, having to wade through a bunch of men that might be not only bad partners, but dangerous partners. The man that she had dated before, or that she had been married to before, had sex addiction and had all sorts of verbal and other types of abuse. And she vowed to never go through that again, not only for herself, but also for her son. But she was in this position of wanting love so badly, but not knowing where to start, and not trusting herself, and having all sorts of those fears of abandonment and rejection and being too much and not being enough, and those things that can be really common, right, for any woman. And so when we worked together, I helped her to change her patterns of attraction so that she was really attracting the highest quality partner. And now the guy that she's with is a COO of a major tech company. He's amazing. Their kids get along really well. They're talking about moving in and getting married and all of those things. And she met him on her 4th date after starting to work with me. So she didn't have to go on a bunch of dates, and she didn't have to waste a bunch of time. He was the 4th person that she met online. Now, half of my clients meet their guy in person, half of my clients meet their person online. So it's about 50-50 between online and in real life. And it almost doesn't matter, because I teach my clients the way to meet someone and their partner more specifically in both places. But you have to know how to change your patterns of attraction, and you have to know how to keep the relationship going strong. So the masculine actually thrives on challenge. So when we just coddle someone or say, oh, it's okay that you're going through the divorce, I can imagine that's been so hard, and we're just like a bleeding heart for them, that does not inspire commitment. But we have to learn how to inspire commitment in the right way, where we're not just being cold or bitchy or all of those things, because for most women that doesn't feel true to themselves, and for most men that doesn't work. Like, they're not just looking for someone to be rude to them. If they wanted that, they could, go get a Starbucks early in the morning, or I'm just kidding, Starbucks is fine. But there's plenty of opportunities to feel people's anger out in the world. And what we really want is we want to create safety and trust and connection and depth without losing ourselves and without being that kind of bleeding heart sort of person. So if you've ever been told that you're too nice, or if you ever find yourself making excuses for men, if you ever find that you're attracting men who say they want to commit and then they kind of slink away and change their mind, it's because you just haven't learned how to inspire commitment and set a healthy boundary while staying true to yourself. And this is an art, it's not something that you can just learn in one blog and that you can learn by reading a book, like this is something that you have to practice. You have to get real-time advice. And that's one of my favorite parts about working with my clients is not only do I lay out a roadmap like I did for my client in NorCal of how to meet your partner in just a handful of dates, but I also teach them the rules of the road and the guidelines for how to communicate, when to text and what to say and all of that. And it's not a script. It's not about being a robot, but it's about having these rules of the road, kind of like if you're driving on the highway, there's the line down the middle and the lines between the lanes and there's the guide rails. I give my clients guide rails so they can be on a super highway to love instead of feeling like they have to take this long route and then get stuck, on a detour. Like, nope, don't want that for you. So if you want a healthy relationship in a short amount of time, and if you want to inspire commitment so you never have to watch another good one get away again or see someone who says he wants to commit and then he waffles and you feel caught in between because you've already developed all these emotions. If you just want to bypass all of that and like I said, get on the super highway to love, then I would love to talk. So we offer 45-minute free Breakthrough to Love sessions. These are freaking powerful. People oftentimes say that they've gotten more in those 45 minutes than they have sometimes in a whole year of therapy. So this is your chance to get guidance from an expert and to learn about what's been holding you back from love, what it is that you truly want, that vision that will make your whole body and heart shine and light up, and how to get there. And like I said, it's not your fault, but it is your opportunity. And so these go really fast. We only have about 15, 20 spots a week, and we have 25 or so, sometimes even 40 women who reach out to us. So book your free call now. Go to violetlange.com/talk, and I will see you on the other side. Mwah.